So for cosine 15, you could do this several different ways. You could do a sum and difference identity. So you could do cosine of 45 minus 30. Okay? That would be fine. You could do a half angle identity. So you could do cosine of 30 over 2. Right? Because both of those will give you an angle of 15. And then from here, you're just plugging in. So do you guys want to use sum and difference or double or the half angle? Okay, so sum and difference. So number 4 is the same deal. We can do a sum, and that's fine. So the sum for tangent, you just need to find two angles that add up to 255 that we know the reference angle for. So that would be like well, we don't know 15. So 225 plus 30, yeah. Because 225 plus 30 equals 255. So then I'm just going to plug it into that identity. So that's going to be tan 225 plus tan 30 over, now this sign down here, remember, is opposite. So this is plus, this is minus tan 225 times tan 30. All right, what's the reference angle of 225? 45, and we are in ASTC. 225 is right here, so it's going to be positive. So that's going to be 1 plus root 3 over 3 over 1 minus 1 times root 3 over 3, so root 3 over 3. And you can leave it just like that. I'm not making you simplify. So here, you're going to look at your list of identities and just see what this matches. So this is just A and this is B. If you have two different angles, you should know right away it's going to be sum or difference. So this is just the sum or difference of tangent with 120 and 12, and this is the sign that you look at. So it would just be tangent 120 plus 12, which is the tangent of 132. And that's it. You're done. So number 9 matches up with the cosine identity. So it's a double angle. So it's just cosine of 2 times 160. So that would just be cosine of what, 320? And you're done? Okay. For number 10, this is one that we have to alter it a little bit, okay? So remember, our identity is sine 2 theta equals 2 sine theta cosine theta. So it's clear that this looks very similar to this, but the difference is this has a 2 and this doesn't. So what we need to do is match my identity to my problem. So what do I have to multiply everything by to get back to here? 1/2. Right. So when you multiply by 1/2, you have to multiply your identity by 1/2. So 1/2 sine 2 theta equals sine theta cosine theta. This 1/2 goes on the outside. Okay. On your guys' last mini quiz, a lot of you were putting this on the inside, but this 1/2 stays on the outside. Theta here is 95, so you would just have 1/2 sine 2 times 95, so 1/2 sine of 190, and that's your answer. Just leave it just like that. All right, number 12. If you look at this, this looks very similar to the tangent of a half angle, but that identity is sine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. So again, I need to make my identity match my problem. So what do I need to multiply my identity by? Well, now I don't have a 2, here I do. So 2, right. So now I just have 2 tan of theta over 2, so that's 41 over 2. So it would be 2 tan of 20.5. And that would be your answer. So, looking at this identity, this matches up with tan 2 theta, which equals 2 tan theta over 1 minus tan squared theta. So again, you see, it does not match up 100%. So I need to make my identity match the problem. So what do I have to multiply by? 4, right. So I multiply the whole thing by 4. So that'll give me 8. So now what I have is 4 tan 2 times theta, which is 15. Okay? So 4 tan 30. And then from here you just solve. So the tangent of 30 is what? Root 3 over 3. So 4 times root 3 over 3. So your answer would just be 4 root 3 over 3. All right, so if the sine of A equals 3/5, it's an angle A. Sine is what? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So you know the opposite is 3. The hypotenuse is 5. What would this other side be? 4. Good. So it asks for tangent of 2A and sine of A over 2. So now all you're doing is plugging those values in. So look at your identities. So tan 2A equals 2 tan of A over 1 minus tan squared A. Okay? So looking at this triangle, what would the tangent of A be? Opposite over adjacent, which is 3 over 4. So now we're going to replace anywhere there's tangent A with 3 over 4. It's not the tangent of 3 over 4. It is 3 over 4. A lot of you guys write tangent 3 over 4, which is wrong. And it's really frustrating. So 2 times 3 over 4 over 1 minus 3/4 squared. So now we just multiply out and simplify. So you'd get 6/4 over 1 minus 9/16. So 6/4 over, what's that? 7/16. And we know now that we just multiply by the reciprocal. So you just multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator. So you get 24 over 7 would be the final answer. And you do the same thing for sine of A over 2. That's just a different identity that you're plugging it into. So, for 11, remember the steps, guys. First, see if there's any algebra to do. There's no algebra to do. See if there's any identities. There's no identities. Change the sine and cosine. This is already sine and cosine. So you should recognize that this is a certain type of problem where we always multiply by the conjugate. So it's 1 plus sine t, 1 plus sine t, and this is going to work out really nice. So you get 1 plus sine t cosine t. Down here, this is a difference of squares, right? 1 minus sine squared t. What does 1 minus sine squared t equal? Cosine squared. Good. Okay, and then the last step. Cosine cancels, so you get 1 plus sine t over cosine t, which is what we wanted. All right? All right, 14. What is 1 over cosecant squared? Sine squared x. When you take the cosine of a negative, what can you do with the negative? Get rid of it. Sine 90 minus x, that's cofunction of sine is what? Cosine plus cosine squared. What's cosine minus cosine? 0. What's sine squared plus cosine squared? 1 equals 1.